A reprieve for tens of thousands of Haitians who were expected to be forced out of the U.S. in July. And in sport, TNT Football Club misses out on automatic qualification for the CONCACAF Champions League. I'm Ricardo Roberts, and this is Caribbean in 10 for Tuesday, May 23rd. I'll be back with the details after the break.
Grow your business or promote your event through the services offered by the Caribbean Media Corporation and CaribVision. Our distribution provides a platform on cable, terrestrial television, and websites. We cover carnivals and events from across the region. We can bring your event live and alive to the world. For music makers, program producers, businesses, we can expand your reach to in excess of 2 million households daily. Our other services include news updates to enhance your media products, studio space for program and development. We can facilitate the launch of new products and services and training. Contact us and we will help you unleash your creative ability, develop products and services, and provide the medium to watch them grow. Contact Loretta Skeet at cmccaribbean.com or call her 1-246-467-1044 or 1-246-253-3889. Call and book your carnival or event today.
This week, true to form as the Cleveland Cavaliers, the defending NBA champions, and the glamour team, the Golden State Warriors, appear headed for another NBA final showdown. West Ham, they defeated Tottenham, a result that benefits Chelsea the most as they set their sights on the Premier League glory in the European soccer scene. And even though the West Indian summer is yet to come, Caribbean cricket fans savor a rare victory.
Tens of thousands of Haitians living in the United States since the devastating 2010 earthquake have been shielded from deportation for another 6 months. U.S. Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly granted an extension of the Temporary Protected Status, or TPS, yesterday, saying the conditions in their homeland are still not stable enough to force them to return. The TPS of more than 58,000 Haitian immigrants was to come to an end in July. With the latest extension, they will be able to stay in the U.S. until January 22. The Homeland Security Secretary said he would monitor conditions in the French-speaking Caribbean nation. But he said if recovery from the earthquake continues at pace, an extension past January next year may not be warranted. So Haitian immigrants should prepare to return home then. A 6-member independent election observer mission is in the Cayman Islands to monitor tomorrow's general elections. The team arrived over the weekend and attended several election rallies, and the observers already have a task on their hands to look into a clash between supporters of rival political parties on Saturday. Head of the observer mission, Stephen Rodden, says while he can't adjudicate on it, he intends to inquire into that and any other incidents. Reshma Raghunath of Cayman 27 News has more.
Cayman's move to one person, one vote garnered praise from Steve Rodan, head of the International Election Observer Mission, tasked with monitoring the May 24th polls.
Gives equality of representation in equalised electoral districts and, very important, equality of electoral representation, which is very important.
That was one of the recommendations coming out of the 2013 Election Observer Mission report, where progress was made. Changes to the qualification period for voting was not.
I'll be seeking to understand what progress has been made, if any, and the reasons for lack of progress, and this will be reflected ultimately in our report.
The 6-member team arrived over the weekend and attended 2 political rallies on Saturday, as well as a church service on Sunday. Mr. Rodan says the team's aim is simple.
Give confidence to the public of the Cayman Islands that whether they are pleased with the election outcome or whether they're not pleased with it, they can have confidence in the electoral process itself.
The team will be meeting with election office staff, the police commissioner, government officials and political parties.
In Trinidad and Tobago now, government's effort to get the courts to urgently hear their appeal against the judge's decision to put its controversial property tax on hold ended in disappointment yesterday. The appeal court says it won't hear the matter until June 6th. That means the injunction handed down by Justice Frank C. Prasad last Friday will stay in place until then. He had granted a stay on the implementation of the decision by government that all property owners complete and submit the valuation return form. CNC3's Kamal Georges tells us what attorneys for the government and the opposition told the court yesterday.
The legal team argued that it should be treated as an urgent matter. According to senior counsel Russell Martino, this is a case where the state is seeking to get on with raising revenue and conduct the business of the country, saying there is legislation on the books that must be put into effect. However, Justice Jamada interrupted, stating that the government did nothing for years but was now interested in doing something. However, Mr. Martino explained that the circumstances of the state have changed over the last few months. He asserted that there is tremendous confusion out there because people don't know whether to go in with the forms or hold out on submitting them. In fact, he felt the entire order was vague, uncertain and meaningless. However, attorney Anand Logan dismissed those claims. On the issue of raising revenue, he said that really ought not to be the concern of the court. He says the matter is equally urgent for his client as he has an urgent desire to keep his revenue because things are equally hard on the population. And therefore, he cautioned against rushing through.
Stay with us, your Midday Sport is next.
Airing out my history for you. I got options. Y si tú y yo ya estamos aquí. Hey DJ, póngale la música que le if I write, see it so.
Luckless San Juan Jabalotay of Trinidad and Tobago missed out on automatic qualification for the CONCACAF Champions League when they crashed to a 1-0 defeat to the Dominican Republic's Ciabo FC in the final of the Caribbean Football Union Club Championship on Sunday night. Ruskin Mark of C Sport has that story.
From the kickoff, Keith Jeffries' men marched down the field confidently and Price opened a wonderful opening when Verlon Mills turned his man nicely and sent a pinpoint accurate cross towards main man Nathan Lewis at the back post. But for once, the normally clinical Lewis failed to hit the target as goalkeeper Juan Pablo Dominguez made the save inside the first minute. They would be made to pay for that miss in the 31st. After defending two successive corners, they were a bit unlucky with the third as the deflection from Elijah Manes' body stood up nicely for an alert Richard Dabas to pounce and beat Javon Sampo from close range for 1-0 to the visitors. Jabalotay would throw everything at Cibao the rest of the match as they went in search of an equalizer and thought that they had it here early in the second half when Elijah Manes drilled home this beauty. But it was heartache for Jabalotay faithfuls when the referee's assistant had his flag up for a very close call that could have gone either way. It stayed that way to the end, and Cibao celebrated a big win and an historic capture of the CFU club title after just 3 years in existence.
That's Caribbean in 10. Join us again at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Good afternoon.